Buenas. Hoy vamos a aprender a crear los adverbios de modo en español. Today we are going to learn how to create adverbs of manner in Spanish. Now, what is an adverb? So an adverb is a word that describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. When it comes to adverbs of manner, these adverbs tell us how an action is performed. Okay? In Spanish, there are two ways that we can form adverbs of manner. All right? The first way that we can form an adverb of manner is to add mente to the singular feminine form of an adjective. So we take an adjective, we put it in the singular feminine form, and then we add mente. Okay? For example, lento or lenta, which means slow, we put it in the feminine, singular feminine, lenta, and we add mente, lentamente. Rápida, rápidamente. Fácil, fácilmente. What you will notice is that if there's an accent if the adjective has an accent, then that accent will remain in the adverbial form. Okay? So rápida, rápidamente, the accent remains on the A. You will also notice that if the adjective is used for singular and masculine subjects, no change is made and mente is just added. For example, with lento or lenta, we would have to put it in the singular feminine, which should be lenta, and then we add mente. But for a word like fácil, which applies to both genders, we just add mente. So this is the first way. Now we need to know where these generally occur in a sentence. And let me say this. Unlike English, there isn't as much flexibility with regard to placement of adverbs, right? So, Messi ganó fácilmente. Messi easily won. They normally occur after the verb. So, fácilmente modifies the verb ganar, right? It tells us how he won, right? They occur before adjectives. Las palabras son perfectamente visibles. So perfectamente modifies the adjective visibles. So when it modifies the verb, it occurs after. And if it modifies an adjective, it occurs directly before that adjective, right? Muy bien, muy bien. Now, what happens if we have a series of adverbs of manner? What do? Do we constantly add mente after each one? No. So when two or more adverbs of manner are used in sequence, mente is only added to the last adverb. So mente will only occur at the end of the last adverb in that sequence, okay? So la profesora nos habló abierta y rápidamente. The teacher spoke to us openly and quickly. Now, pay attention. Remember I said two or more. So we have two adverbs here. We have openly and we have quickly. So you realize that the first adverb, which is openly, I have abierta. So you could imagine basically that mente was added there. And I just removed the mente. So essentially, if you have a series of adverbs of manner, put mente at the end of each one right? And then remove them and leave the final one so that you know you're putting the correct thing, okay? So you would basically act as though you were creating the adverb of manner, but then removing mente. So this is where we have abierta, right? Because it is short for abiertamente. But we don't need to have mente at the end of each one. It's just the last one that we need to have mente, right? Cool. Some more details. Of course, there are other adverbs of manner that do not follow this pattern, ending in mente, etc. For example, bien, which means well, or mal, which means badly. Yeah. So there are always exceptions to the rule, right? So this is the first technique that we can use if we want to create an adverb of manner. We put the adjective in the singular feminine form and add mente. Now, a second way that we can create adverbs of manner is to use this combination. Con followed by the noun that emerges from the adjective, right? So, for example, we have facilmente. That's the first method that we reviewed. If we want to use this, pardon, if we want to use this combination, we use con. So the adjective is fácil. What is the noun from fácil? Facilidad. So con facilidad. Rápidamente, the adjective from that is rápida. So what is the noun that emerges? Rapidez. Con rapidez. Claramente was the adjective clara. What is the noun that emerges? Con claridad. So that's another way we can form adverbs of manner. So for example, el francés se puede aprender con facilidad. French can be easily learned. That's right. So con followed by the noun that emerges from the adjective. Another example, con cuidado, carefully. Muy bien, muy bien. Another point before we end. There are some, like I mentioned earlier, there are exceptions to the rule with like bien and mal. But then there are other adverbs that of manner that do not end in mente or do not use this form, right? For example, let's look at something like rápido. Rápido, yes, is an adjective, the singular masculine form, but it can also be an adverb. It can also be an adverb of manner. So there are many variants when it comes to this topic, right? But generally speaking, to form them, we can use method 1, which is to put it in a singular feminine form and add mente, or we can use method 2, which is to use con and the noun that emerges, right, from the adjective. Muy bien. Eso es todo por hoy. Muchas gracias por seguirme y nos vemos.